So Cameron, here's our second video.
Correct.
About the 2020 American general election. And we actually did make a video on the 20th of February.
Right.
So before Super Tuesday and I think just after New Hampshire and
Nevada.
Nevada,
Yep.
So on the 20th of February, Bernie Sanders was very strong.
Correct. Yes.
There were lots of candidates
Yes.
that were nominating or wanted to be the nominee. But we're now recording this on, is today the 7th?
Yes.
Yeah, this is the 7th of March. Super Tuesday was the 3rd of March, so
Yes.
5 days ago. A lot changed on Super
Correct.
Tuesday compared to
Indeed.
what we were talking about on the 20th of February.
Indeed.
My goodness.
Indeed.
They say a week is a long time in politics. I'd say 24 hours is a long time in
Yes.
politics, given what happened on Tuesday. In summary, what happened on Super Tuesday? Everything changed.
Today's
Yes.
headlines.
Yes. I mean, basically, Biden won a lot more than people thought he was going to, and Bernie won less than people thought he was going to. And Elizabeth Warren fizzled, and of course now she's dropped out. So that was also. So these are all things I think that when we were talking just a week, more than a week ago, but before Super Tuesday, I don't think anyone really thought any of these things were going to happen so quickly.
I know in our 20th of February video, you were not prepared to rule out Biden in any way,
Correct.
shape or form. And I think one of the things you said, he's the establishment candidate.
That's right. That's right.
But did anyone actually think that he would do as well? Did anyone predict, anywhere in the world predict that he would do as well as he did on Super Tuesday?
No, I think, I'm not saying nobody did, but certainly if you look at the...
No one that we know of.
That's correct, yes. And we know not that many people. So you just take that as it is. But so I think, but it definitely the mainstream commentary was this was a real contest, and Biden certainly was not out. Nobody said that, but it was like, this could be perhaps the beginning of a decline that might leave him out, or I think more people thought a brokered convention, an open convention. That's what most people thought. I personally think two things happened. One of which has been commented on a lot, and one of which has not been remarked on much. The thing that's been commented on a lot is Bernie's didn't really get the turnout, particularly on the young people, that was predicted. So I have some thoughts about that, but I'll leave that aside for now. So in other words, he did get people interested in him, but it just wasn't enough to really have that surge that I think a lot of people thought might be the case. The other thing that's not as remarked upon as much, but is I think very important, probably more important, is that this is what happens, and I'm giving Joe Biden credit here, when you are a lifelong party activist, party participant, party apparatchik, you can use whatever term you want. I mean, Biden has been part of the Democratic machine, and he has done the hard scut work, from back being in Delaware, becoming a senator. He has done the scut work, and I think what we saw on Super Tuesday, in retrospect, it's very clear, but it wasn't so clear it was going to happen in advance, was, the party members, a lot of the base in the party, turned out for him. And Bernie, is not a Democrat. He's running for the Democratic nomination, but he is not part of the Democratic Party, never has been, hasn't done the work in the party. Like it or not, that's important when you're running for a party nomination. And so I think that actually hasn't been remarked on much, but it reminds me of Richard Nixon, not when he was president, but when he was vice president under Eisenhower. And Eisenhower was ready to drop him when he was running for a second term. And the thing that saved Nixon was that Nixon had gone to like every local party chairman, gone to all the local party events. If they asked him to speak, he showed up, and that saved him. And I think actually that's what saved Biden. Biden is, the people in these primaries are Democrats, and I think a lot of them said, all right, he's one of us, and he's. I think that's probably in some sense more important than what a lot of people focused on, which is this whole moderate socialist kind of thing. Not that that was unimportant, and the winnability. Not that any of that was unimportant, but I think the strength of his result came from people saying, yep, this guy he shows up, and he's shown up for decades in the Democratic Party. And I think it hurt Bernie. I think Bernie was like, hey, you're not one of us. So I think those are two things that I think really went against Bernie.
So I've read recently that the biggest threat to Biden is Joe Biden.
Yes.
Can you tell?
Yes.
Can you tell us what that article might have been talking about?
So Biden, look, even when he was a senator, now I worked in Washington, and he was a senator back then. And I like to always tell people when I worked in Washington, I was a technocrat. I didn't have anything to do with politics. But Biden, even back then, I mean, people would talk about, for example, he was getting like hair implants, back then, and he didn't hide it, and I will give Biden credit for that. He was just, I'm getting hair implants. You could sort of see, be it hearings, you could see these, hair implants in his head. And this is back when hair implants were, kind of a completely new thing. And of course he has this, and he does it. We've seen it already. We've seen it many times, where he just says stuff that's kind of strange. He's got this bizarre tendency just to say weird stuff,
So let's actually be really clear. He says stuff that's not true.
No,
that has no basis in fact.
And yeah, exactly. No, that's true.
So
but
is that called lying?
Yeah, no, sure. I'm not going to sugarcoat it, but it's not just lying of the sort that Trump does.
I mean, view this the same as the flu.
So in the sense that Trump lies all the time. If you're going to compare liars, Trump obviously wins the award there. Right? I mean, I don't know if Trump, every maybe 100th thing Trump says has truth in it, right?
It's going to disappear. One day it's like a miracle. It will disappear.
And usually that's by accident. Whereas sort of, the Biden...
The red ball came up on that spin.
Right, exactly. But Biden says things that are untrue, that are sort of like, why did you even say that? So like the thing with South Africa that came out earlier.
He was in jail with Mandela, is that what he said?
So he says these strange things. And so it's going to happen.
Can he identify South Africa on a map?
Oh, I would say so. No, Biden is not, he's not a Yahoo in the sense that some of these people are. Some people who have that kind of tendency just to blow off their mouth and say crazy things. But I don't know what that is. It's just.
Is he senile? Is he getting dementia?
Well,
or has he been doing this all his career?
To tell you, I'll go back. Look, this is speculative, but I actually think it goes back to being a politician in Delaware.
Winner.
I mean, it's sort of like being a politician here. Like he knows, like in Delaware, he knew everybody.
Yeah.
And again,
plus, you can get away with it. So it becomes ingrained, right? So you go, oh yeah, I pulled that one
and
off.
Also, a lot of people, and this is where he does have appeal. So Biden, we're not yet in the general election, right? Or maybe we sort of are, but in the general election, I mean, Biden, his strength, he's got his weaknesses, right? His strength, though, is this sense where a lot of the people, particularly the white working class or even the white middle class, the people are outside the coast, outside the big cities. There's a sense where Biden's got the sense of like, oh yeah, I say stupid things too, and I don't even know why I say them, or I embellish things for no particular reason, and I think there's a sense where I really do think Biden's a small town politician in some ways at heart, and he still is a small town politician, and that is in a sense sort of his appeal. So Bernie does have, I think it's a very, if it's Bernie versus Trump, as I say, I think, just like I said last time, I think that's a contest. Not saying that Bernie's odds on to win that contest, but he's just got, he appeals to a lot of the same people, the swing voters, particularly the white working class voters that Trump appeals to. He's got a strong motivated base. He's also has the added advantage of having integrity and, being a sort of there's not, you can criticize him, you can sort of box him in, but he's pretty much what you see is what you get. And that can be his weakness and can be his strength.
And if it's Trump and Sloppy Joe?
Exactly. It's funny, that's unpredictable for different reasons. So one thing, of course, is Joe himself, as we know. I mean, God knows what he's going to say and how that's going to land and what's he going to do afterwards, So, and we know, and the thing about Sloppy Joe is something's going to happen.
Bang your
At least a few
head!
things. I mean, that's unpredictable.
What we do know is that nothing is not going to happen.
That's right. It's not going to be sort of like Joe's going to just be, all right, now I've got the nomination, I'll sort of cool it. And, he's going to say...
He's going to say a whole lot of dumb things.
Exactly. And who knows? I mean, that's hard to know how that's going to land, against a candidate like Trump.
So he could well say something so dumb that makes him unelectable, notwithstanding that Trump's his opponent.
Yes.
That is possible, isn't it?
But yes, exactly. I mean, he could, and a real distraction that, of course, everyone will believe on. On the other hand, I mean, it could be to his advantage. And, Trump, it'd be interesting to see Trump and Biden in debate because, I could see Biden saying something really out there that Trump Trump never gets unsteady, but it might be, Trump Of course, Trump could do the
It's
same.
so bizarre.
Yeah,
That
right.
not only does it shock the electorate, that it'll
Right,
actually make
right.
Trump speechless.
And of course, Trump could shock Biden too. So that's the thing. I mean, so it's a strange thing because
You've got a couple of loose cannons potentially.
Yeah,
I mean,
you do.
in some ways, Bernie's very predictable, right?
Correct.
Bernie has
Correct.
not.
Yes.
His script hasn't changed for 30 years.
That's right. Exactly.
But these guys have a different script depending on the day.
Right. This is sort of like the old Cold War, mutually assured destruction scenario. Right. So what will happen with the Soviet Union? Will it be World War III? Will it be on PCP? It's kind of like this real pure game theory, like where it's like, gee, these guys, I don't know what's going to happen.
I think one of the things I'm taking out of this, I think I'm really starting to get my head around a Trump-Biden campaign, and just who's going to just say the dumbest thing?
Yeah.
Really?
Yes.
Maybe it'll be like the dumbest wins. The dumbest thing said wins.
I think actually, look, you mentioned reality television, and in reality television, right? What gets the ratings? Who gets voted in, voted out? Doesn't have anything to do really with competency or smarts or sensibility. It just becomes like, wow, that was crazy. Come on in, stay in the truck. You're boring. Get out of here.
Stop making sense.
Exactly. That's right. Yeah, you go on for the next round. So I think it's. I don't know if it's a good time to be around, but it's an interesting time to be around. That's for sure.
Won't be boring.
That's right. Thank you, sir.
Take it easy, Cameron.
Yes, John. Until soon.
Until soon.